what were the essential ingredients you had to highlight in the networking essay? Using your personal experience in the networking essay, what were the salient thing you had to do? I'll start with Chevening in that order as we went.
Okay, so I think as the word denotes networking, to me, it was more the ability of meeting new people and making the most of every other opportunity presented to you. So
Sorry,
say you
Chevening,
were,
if I'm not cutting you in, if you can speak up a bit.
sure, is it much better now?
Yeah, much better. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll say, as the word denotes, networking requires you to share so much about how you make or how you made the most of all your previous experiences or networks with people, and how maybe you went for a conference or an event and then you were able to collaborate with the people you met or the new people most likely to do something more meaningful, and also quantifying that impact of the meaningful activity. It also had to do with how you made the most of every previous opportunity. For example, if you were, let's say you are on a cohort or you're in a fellowship or you were selected for something, um, are you able to collaborate with colleagues on that front? Have you also been able to do anything with your past lecturers? So for me, it was more for me how I was able to meet new people and then do something with them and also quantify the impact of what I did with them. That's how I tackled or I saw the networking essay. I know there's a lot of variety to this, but for me, it was more about whenever you meet people in an event or conference, new people, not necessarily people you had already known, what's made out of that and how you can quantify what was made out of that. For me, I did that in the light that, so when I come to the UK, it's an evidence that when you get Chevening, you'll be able to do more because you've proven that all the opportunities given you in the past, you've been able to do something out of it.
Okay.
That's how I was able to tackle mine.
Okay. Okay. Selena? Selena, you're on mute.
Okay, so sorry about that. But I personally like to make things very simple, not to get intimidated by having achieved really great things before you can answer some of these questions. Networking could even start from your basic relationship with your classmates. How you're able to build that relationship even after university, how the impact you're able to make together, So in my essay, I started by the relationships I've built with my classmates, my course mates, people I was able to bring together for group discussions and all of that. So in founding my NGO, these were the same people that came on board to be volunteers, to have positions in my NGO and all of that. And I feel like it sort of demonstrates how much, even after school, it didn't end in the classroom, but you're able to build and maintain relationships with these people. And then when it became necessary, they became of use to you. Then I went ahead to mention like my big deal networks that I had built over the period, especially including one professor at the Agric Engineering Department of the University of Ghana that I had worked with and had plans on doing a project with after my my master's. So sometimes it doesn't have to be, you don't necessarily need to meet like a minister or a this or that. It's like the basic smallest thing, but it's how you're able to make the very best of impact with the smallest relationships you've been able to build and all. Yeah. So
yeah, which agric engineering lecturer? I'm curious to know that because I was in the engineering school.
I'll tell you privately, I guess.
Okay. Joel.
All right, so let me just give a very practical example. So, well, Lois, I'm going to disclose this openly. Forgive me. So, Lois got in touch with us through Roysa. Okay, Roysa is Lois's friend, right? And then Lois got in touch with all of us through Roysa. We've never met Lois before this. I mean, we just met virtually. We've never met physically, but she's been able to leverage the network that she has with Roysa to get access to several other Chevening scholars to make this webinar successful, right? And we have almost about 150 participants online. That's like a clear demonstration of using your networks to cause an impact. So it's about you being able to spend your resources. Okay, you know someone, you know one guy who knows another guy. How do you get the other guy to use his or her influence to get someone else to bring some impact on board? And in the end, you measure the impact. So that's like the basic networking principle. Don't think about networking as in you being able to just message someone on LinkedIn or meeting someone on Twitter or an event. It doesn't end there. You being able to influence them positively to create a positive impact. So, I mean, from my approach, I had a lot of influence in the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, and I was able to make a couple of recommendations of a healthcare startup that I'm more like helping with, right? I help them with marketing support. So I was able to make recommendations with that healthcare startup, and eventually we were able to get to the level of the vice president. We got to pitch our idea to the vice president of Ghana. And it's just a matter of recommendation. Obviously, maybe the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana couldn't have given us that money, but then they gave us the opportunity, that exposure to meet someone who is a decision maker. And that's what networking is. So just look at it from that angle. It's not just about social media connections or attending networking events.
Yeah. Melly.
You know something? I think Joel is a psychic. He always says what I'm going to say.
And it's right you are right after him as well.
Oh my God.
You know, when we used to be in school, like they give that, and the person, that smart boy is always in front of you. Like,
this boy.
Ask me first. I know.
But then, Charlie, this boy, he got levels, man.
I beg.
Anyway, so, I mean, Joel has said it all. And one thing I would say is, for me at work, I get my boss to come to me and say, hey, Melissa, so we want to do this. Do you know somebody that can help us? You know? And I'm like, oh, somebody from school. Oh, my classmates. Yeah. It was always like that. So sometimes it's not about what you can get from your network, but how you can use your network to help someone. You also had to look at that way. They're always about what you got from it, but what you did for others. And always put in your mind the people, the places, the time, the events forms part of the network. So that's, I think Joel said it also. I'll end here.
Yeah. Okay. Eugene, Kwame Eugene. Hey, Kwame Eugene. Has Kitty come around? You're mute.
Hello?
Yeah, hi.
Sorry. Okay, so hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Your video will be good.
Yes, just a minute. My video will come on in a minute.
Yes,
so
but
basically, with me, I think I went a bit deep with my networking essay. With networking, I thought of the leadership. So the things I listed in leadership, how did I use my network to achieve those things? So I talked about what I did in my high school year group. I mean, back in tertiary, I was a national president for the group, and how I leveraged all of that. Just a minute.
okay, do you want us to take you after?
No, it's okay. It's
you're
okay.
right.
Let me
Okay.
just. So how I leveraged that network, and I was able to achieve with that. I talked about all the groups I belong to within my hospital, how I'm able to put people together to achieve my goals. Then my organization, there are over 200 volunteers who were working with me or with my team, how I was able to get these people together, what we were able to achieve. So that's how I went around my networking. One also important thing is, yes, I brought in some I call them powerful networks. When I was in India, then it came in again, my skills of say being respectful or able to enter spaces got me into the Ghana High Commission, where I became a speed dial person from the High Commissioner when a former president, the sitting vice president, and all of that were in the country. I was the one assigned to be their detail and all that. I used all of that. That became powerful network for me. I used how I leverage all of that to achieve common goals, and I didn't end them there. Getting back to Ghana, I was still able to fall on these people, like a staff of that embassy. I was able to fall on, put networks together where we purchased like wheelchairs and stuff for my organization, how we're able to push this through. So I made sure what I said in leadership, I was able to still bring that into networking, but then not to talk about leadership, but to talk about how my network helped me achieve all of that. Yeah.
Okay. Irene?
Just to add a little, I think my colleagues have said it all, but for me, I'll keep on re-emphasizing that if you are unique, once the reader starts reading your essay, they are able to pick up that this is a unique essay. Like Joel said from the beginning, networking is about how you are able to influence people. People you've not even met before, you are able to work with them. For me, for the Chevening essay, I had a lot of networking opportunities. I live by networking, but I didn't even have the opportunity to even write everything in 500 words. So the ones that I had made the most impact is what I wrote. Bearing in mind that Chevening is a very big network, and the main purpose for Chevening is networking, for you to come out and depend on the leverage Chevening has given you to be able to move things. So, okay, when we are out of the UK and we all go back and start working, Chevening expects that for the network and friendship we've even built as a year group, what can we come together and do? And these are some of the things your essay should demonstrate to Chevening that you have already started or you have the skill and potential to come back and do things. Chevening is not expecting you to return to your country and sit down. They are not hearing from you. You are not changing anything. And then after all the investment that has been made in you, which is a huge amount of money, you are not able to change anything. So your essay should come out clearly how you are able to move things, build relationships, and sustain them. There are people who are able to start a relationship, but they are unable to sustain them. The unique thing Chevening is looking out for from that essay of networking is that how are you able to first meet people? And after you've met the people, do you just go your separate ways and is that all? Or you are able to maintain that relationship and use that relationship as an opportunity to bring change to society? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was looking at having this conversation within an hour and 30 minutes, but yeah, I think we'll target just a few things. There are a lot of questions on the Facebook page, there are a lot of questions on the Zoom page. Joel, you're really helping. If you can also, all the panelists, you can answer some of the questions in the Zoom page as we sit down. That will help with cutting down like the time. Seth, I can see you on here. Seth, you're welcome. Is it the weather? The weather just mellowed you to oversleep or what?
No, I didn't oversleep. In fact, I went for a tour of London and I came back late, so I couldn't.
Someone is doing just what I wanted to do before COVID hit me.
So when Joel alerted me, I was just about I just arrived in my apartment. So sorry for joining late.
That's sorry. That's fine. Well accepted. But okay, we've had a little bit of conversation. So if you just touch on it slightly, you just give us a quick intro of yourself, probably how you answered your networking essay, and how you answered your leadership essay. If you can take that in a couple of minutes, just a quick intro of yourself.
Okay, so I'm Seth Jemfi. I've worked at Konfanochi Teaching Hospital for 10 years as a social worker. And I also am a co-founder of an NGO called Redeeming Hands Foundation, whose interest in helping kids who are not able to afford medical care. We raise funds for them so that they can access medical care. Currently, I'm studying at London School of Economics and the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. I'm doing a course in health policy planning and financing. Yes.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. So to the question about networking and essay, let me start with the networking and the leadership. Yeah. So for the networking, for me, I use my personal attributes or characteristics to make my point that networking thrives on integrity and competence, and so you could have all the qualities to get to know people, but then what will make people to get to know you is your competence and your integrity. And I cited examples where I've used my competence and integrity, and it has opened doors for me, and it had brought me into relationship with other people, which I've capitalized on to improve what I was doing. For instance, when we started the NGO, we needed people to fund us. Initially, it was just my partners and I using our own resources. But then we realized that more people were coming to us with help. But then we needed people who were able to support us. So we put an advert on social media that we need a number of people who would donate at least 20 cedis a month. But because people had seen the work that we were doing, we had over 100 people who pledged every month that they were going to support us. And I use the power of numbers as well in my essay, that over the period that we started that, we had been able to generate this amount. We've been able to help this number of persons. So that was how I went about my networking essay. In the leadership essay, I think I talked about, used 2 sentences to talk what leadership means to me, and instances where my perceptions of leadership, I have used that, to help people or to do something in my line of work within my NGO. I believe that in the leadership and influence essay, we shouldn't be mediocre. We should be on point. Let me say that. And we should be clear. We shouldn't beat about the bush. Sometimes, I think yesterday, somebody sent me an essay to review, leadership and influence essay. And all that the person was talking about was the qualities of a leader. The person wasn't linking those qualities that she had and how she has used those qualities to bring change in her area of work or whatever that she was doing. And so when you are talking about leadership, we shouldn't talk about your conception of what leadership is. What leadership qualities are in you? How have you used those qualities to influence people? How have you used those qualities to do something in your line of work to impact your community? And that is what I believe Chevening is looking for, because Chevening is looking for achievers. And so you must be able to tell them that you are an achiever. And through the Chevening scholarship, you can be able to do more.